Right, Joe, we start off with some really good news ahead of the game. Alfie Kilgore's red card has been overturned.
Yeah, first time we've had one rescinded, I think, and when I watched it back, I was unsure because clearly there is a moment where the feet touch, but Alf said he never tried to pull him and never made contact with him. And thankfully, the FA have seen that and rightly, rescinded it.
So Alfie obviously now comes straight back into contention to start.
We've got one centre half. We've got at least one in the building. I thought we had none. But yeah, look, we are certainly undermanned in that area, but Lincoln won't care. They're on to beat Derby during the week. They're on a good run, and we're going to have to find a way to get a result on Saturday.
And still on defensive matters, Luca Hall's received a Welsh under-21 call-up, and that could affect his availability for next weekend's game.
I will deal with next weekend, mate. We're in the here and now, and obviously Lincoln is the most important thing for us Saturday, so we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Let's talk about Saturday then. So Lincoln got a young new manager. What kind of game are you expecting, particularly after they beat Derby 2-0 during midweek? It
would be a slightly different game. I mean, I think Derby have been in the game, had 2 goals disallowed. Looks like they had the lion's share of possession, penalty for Lincoln early on in the game. And as we know, goals kind of change games, gives them something to hang on to. But again, really, really good results against one of the sides that'll be fancy for promotion. I was a young pro at Man City when Mark was a senior pro. He was one of the ones in a big Ferrari and all that, and bit of a flash Harry, and everyone's telling me he's changed a little bit, so I'm looking forward to seeing Killer, seeing the different demeanour, because he was one of the more boisterous characters when I was a YTS in Man City's dressing room in the Championship. So when I say lively here, lively in a good way, but certainly a big character, had the big flash card and all that, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he's mellowed and developed as a coach. But I think he's made a great start to his managerial career at Lincoln, and as I say, we're intent on getting us maximum points out the game, and they'll have a few injuries, and I don't think I'm dissimilar than any other manager. We're all probably wanting people to be or more people to be available for us. We're clearly a little bit short in certain areas, but nobody in the Lincoln camp will care, and we have to make sure we get a big performance in front of our fans and hopefully take 3 points.
Good news keeps coming. Scans have shown that there's no break for Harry Anderson, but I suspect he might still be not in danger of not making the weekend's game.
Yeah, we'll see how that settles down. I mean, it's great news from that regard, because we felt it was a broken toe, maybe a broken foot. It was a minute into the game, and big part of what we were trying to do, revolved around Harry in certain regards, and the true saying of no plan survives first contact with the enemy, and certainly Tuesday night was that. I mean, literally the first challenge of the game, he gives a free kick away, and it was hobbling round after that. Thankfully, it's not a broken bone, because that would have meant a really long layoff. Sometimes bruising can be very, very painful as well, and in the wrong part of the body, sometimes bone bruising can be worse than a break. So hopefully it settles down really quickly. Is that going to bring him into Saturday's contention? I'm not sure. We're judging it day by day. He hasn't trained this morning. We'll see what he's like in the morning, and we're hoping it's days rather than weeks.
The other red card obviously on Tuesday for Bobby Thomas. First game for Rovers at the Mem the week prior, he scored a goal. Obviously can't play this weekend. What kind of advice have you given him during the week?
I haven't really spoke to him. I've been so busy this morning. I haven't really had time to speak with him. I spoke with him after the game, and I said, it's a reality of playing men's football. You've obviously had the ups of the first week and getting your first goal, and then the downs of going to probably the biggest stadium he's played in. I know he's had loan at Barrow before, but playing at Portman Road, big crowd in, and he's got to learn those lessons. If you're on a yellow card, you can't give the referee the opportunity to give you that second one. And as I say, I think he's a great kid. He's really impressed me with his footballing ability and his demeanour. I think he's going to be a real asset for us this season. And again, unfortunately, them lads are here to learn those lessons. Otherwise you're paying 15 million for them, and the 25, and they've made all the mistakes, and we're not in that boat just yet. So we have to take a chance on younger players, and sometimes with younger players there is certain moments of naivety that you hope they learn from, and I think Bobby's of the constitution that I think he's a relatively quick learner, and hopefully, you know, that's the first and last of his sending offs in a gas shirt.
Just finally, you spoke then briefly about lessons learned. After the Barnsley game, the Portsmouth game, you were keen to stress that some of the players maybe kind of froze. Were you happy with how the team kind of showed a stronger mental side, should we say, against Ipswich, with what, you know, in front of a 20,000 plus crowd?
We got beat, so we lost 2-0. So, you know, and I think they showed the level of investment and the level of football and, you know, physicality that gets you out of the division. I think they'll be there or thereabouts for promotion if you know, nothing balmy happens to them. You know, they've invested over the last couple of years since they've had the new owners, you know, to put themselves at that table. You know, they've got a passionate fan base, and when you walk into those clubs, you kind of think, how have they ended up in League One? How have they been in League One for so long? And similar with Sunderland and obviously Derby and Sheffield. You know, you see inside and you're like, this doesn't really, it shouldn't really be happening unless something goes drastically wrong. Those size of clubs shouldn't be where they are. But for us to compete against them, you know, we were the biggest side, or certainly us and Bradford, and maybe Tranmere could have a shake up of that last season in League Two in terms of ability to attract an attendance. Whereas this year, you know, the 10,000 we're getting in the Mem, and I know I hear it all the time, if we had a new stadium we might get more than that, but we're just another team in this division. We're not a massive team where, you know, last year we were a big attraction, we were a big attendance, and I think we have to deal with that, and it's incremental steps. You know, we're looking at Ipswich, you know, we're a bigger town than Ipswich, and we've got a bigger potential, I think, as a football club in the city of Bristol than Ipswich, but also they've got probably, you know, 25 to 50 years worth of competing in the higher levels of the English game, and you know, you see their stadium and you see their facilities, and you know, do I think we can pull bigger crowds than them and build a football team at that level? Yeah, I do think we can, for sure. I wouldn't be here if I didn't think we couldn't. But I think, you know, Tuesday night certainly showed us how far and how much work we've got to do.
Thanks, sir.